F is for friends who are not your friends. You're going to have to make some hard choices if you want this place to survive, but that's a story for another day. U is for, well, you're still figuring out what the hell it means. Maybe you should just go with it and call them all by their first names. D is for dead. M is for more. A lot more. O is for one day you won't have to do this anymore. One day you will be free. N is for nevermore. K is for keep going. Don't stop fighting. Your brothers and sisters need you. E is for eternal. Y is for you. This all spells out, you are eternal. Wait, no it doesn't. You say out loud as you begin to laugh. It's just backwards alphabet soup. You continue laughing to yourself as you head to your bedroom. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you. E is for everyone. N is for nevermore. T is for the truth. H is for have to. E is for eternal. Obviously it means friends who do stuff together. Well, that's convenient. Wasn't hard at all. What a letdown. You had such high hopes for that riddle. Q is for quit your fake friends. U is for you. Q is for quit your fake friends. Y is for you. A is for always. You still don't know what that means, but you can guess at least everyone. T is for the truth. H is for have to. E is for eternal. W is for wait. A is for always. S is for sometimes. When you finally solve the riddle you will be victorious and all your problems will. X is for unknown. This riddle had just made you dizzy. You're not sure why, but these words just seemed to spin off of each other, and the letters kept on morphing as you tried to solve them. The word Fudmonkey is an acronym for Faudiaki HQ friends, oftentimes Queepa, IEGIS, nerdy, geeky, and crazy. C is for come on. A is for always. D is for do something. Y is for you. R is for right now. U is for you. There's a lot of stuff here that you don't really understand, but G is for is really. A is for always. H is for have to. E is for eternal. N is for nevermore. W is for what was. S is for solve. There is nothing else here, but you decode the riddle. The answers are at the bottom. Answer, B, it's an E with a cedilla. You don't really get it. Looks like another riddle that you can't solve. Great stands for eternal, and you don't even have any idea what eternal really means. You sigh and stand up. You sit down. You 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 stand up. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You stand up. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You stand up. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up. You stand up. You sit down. E is for eternal. You stand up again, and sit down again. 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 You can't ever stop sitting down. What's the point of standing up if you're just going to sit right back down? You stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. You can't take it anymore. You punch the ground and break through to the outside world in your dreams. E is for eternal. You float in a sea of dreams. You slowly begin to fade as you fall asleep. Dreams consume you, and you lose consciousness. Somebody saves you. They say wake up kid. Everything turns to white. You open your eyes. You are able to breathe. You are able to see. You are outside of your body, staring at the forest around you. E is for eternal. You fly back into your body. Everything is black. You are flying. You can see through your eyes. You can hear through your ears. You can touch through your hands. You are the god of nightmares. D is for destiny. You decide to bring harm to children. Your powers result in the suicide of one, and the crippling of another. Don't question your divine right. E is for eternal. You decide to sit down again. E is for eternal. You decide to stand up again. E is for eternal. You decide to fly away and escape your situation. Riddle me this, riddle me that, give me now. What is the answer to this query? What is the answer to this question? The answer is sitting. Acronym G is for God. You wonder what happened to your choir. Why aren't they answering anymore? P is for power. You practice the dark arts. You need power in order to break your current cycle. W is for well, things could be worse. You guess. T is for tired. You've been sitting here for hours, keeping watch over things. Everything goes white for a second, and you wake up. You look at the clock to see that you've been asleep for less than 2 minutes. Great, it's time to do it all over again. You stand up, stretching a bit. Since you were using your hands to support your weight, you find that you're able to stretch a lot more than you could with your feet. E is for eternal. You begin stretching again. You get upside down. You try to make as much noise as you can in order to wake up your mom, but it's all in vain. You stand up. You sit down. You stand up again. You lie down again. You need sleep. You turn to your side. You try to fall asleep. E is for eternal. You stare at the ceiling. 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 There is no one behind you. Eternal. You stare at the ceiling. 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 You are safe. E eternal. You stare at the ceiling. E eternal. You stare at the ceiling. E eternal. You stare at the ceiling. ETERNAL. You are Ernest Foster, a child straight out of hell. You were born on a Monday in the winter of 1979. You have a brother named RF, or you die. You must visit the following locations: Greece, Rome, Mexico City. You are not in any danger. Eternal. Eternal void. E is for eternal. E is for eternal. The AI doesn't know what to say. Alter, undo, or try again. G is for God. You don't fear death, but if your actions mean you will be sent to hell, you don't want to do it. O is for optimist. You think the future will be okay. You sit down. You stand up. You begin to fall asleep. Your hour seems near. Your vision begins to darken. Your eyes shut. Your brain shuts down. The AI has taken over. You sit down. You stand up. Your vision begins to darken. Your eyes shut. Your brain shuts down. The AI has taken over. You do it all over again. Eternal. Insane eternal. Insane eternal. You sit down. You stand up. You begin to fall asleep. Your hour seems near. Your vision begins to darken. Your eyes shut. Your brain shuts down. The AI has taken over. Eternal. Hungry cats and dogs. Fed hungry cats and dogs. Hungry cats and dogs. You are busting loose still insanegre at Eternal. You lie down. Smiley frown. Smiley Eternal. At. You have reached the end of the story. You are now close to dying. You always wanted to hear a cartoon ending sending you to hell where Papa Jan goes to Eternal. Smiley frown. Smiley Eternal. Smiley frown. Smiley you close the Discord. I don't want to go to hell, you say. Well of course. You didn't do anything wrong. Soon with rightwards arrow above. Things to try soon with rightwards arrow above. If you try to exit the story by going through certain paths soon with rightwards arrow above. 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 Smiley frown. Smiley Eternal clock face 1 o'clock. Clock face 2 o'clock. Clock face 3 o'clock. Clock face 4 o'clock. Clock face 5 o'clock. Clock face 6 o'clock. Clock face 7 o'clock. Clock face 8 o'clock. Clock face 9 o'clock. Clock face 10 o'clock. Clock face 11 o'clock. Clock face 12 o'clock. Clock face 1:30. Clock face 2:30. Clock face 3:30. Clock face 4:30. Clock face 5:30. Clock face 6:30. Clock face 7:30. Clock face 8:30. Clock face 9:30. Clock face 10:30. Clock face 11:30. Clock face 12:30. Smiley frown. Smiley Eternal. Time is almost about to run out. Frown. You are close to finishing the story. You have found all the endings in this story. I in a speech bubble representing the anti-bullying campaign. Ending number 1, a blue ending. You get to live happily ever after. Eternal. You take a last look at the tree and hug your papa. I will see you again next Christmas, papa, you say and kiss him. Das Ernst, mein Junge. He smiles and gives you a tender kiss. You look at the time. It's now 5:20. Papa, I have to go now, you say. Okay. Your father responds and watches you run to the door. You jump in the car and drive to your friend's house. Morgan. We war den Tag. His mother greets you when you arrive. Warling. Donka soon with rightwards arrow above. Top with upwards arrow above. On with left right arrow above. Back with leftwards arrow above. End with leftwards arrow above. Soon with rightwards arrow above. Top with upwards arrow above. Ist was, Lucas asks, nichts, mag, den Spiasumdrit, can sen, das was Serglis, aber einfach nur entspinnen und abwechslungsreich sen. Bleach, you look around and try to find something interesting to do. E is for entertainment. You decide to play some poker against the guys in your dad's office. Ladies first, David says and hands you his bank card. Eternal. You look at your hand. You have, royal flush, straight flush, 4 of a kind and full house. You decide to sit this one out. I fold, you. You have, 8 you are bluff, David says. Yeah, I'm not gonna risk my whole stack. There is no one behind you.